Day-to-day life in prison provides few opportunities to do anything of value or to experience peace or joy. An inmate's day begins early in the morning, around 6 o'clock, with breakfast. If you're on death row, you don't get to leave your cell to eat with the other prisoners. You must wait until a guard, rolling a food cart down the tier, reaches your cell and portions out your meal to you through a slot in the gate. Inmates in the main prison eat breakfast and dinner in a large cafeteria we call a mess hall. They cannot eat lunch there, however. Instead, inmates eat brown bag lunches in their cells or outside on the exercise yard to which they're assigned. After breakfast, inmates can go to the exercise yard if they choose. Guards, with handcuffs in tow, take us out to the yard beginning at 7 in the morning. Once you're on the yard, you're not allowed to go back to your cell for any reason until 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the exercise period is over. While on the yard, inmates can play basketball, shower, or just sit around. But it's not as much fun as it sounds, because it's a very dangerous place to be. Guards in the tower will shoot to kill an inmate if a fight breaks out, and fights happen often. You can go outside every day while in prison, but I go to the yard only 3 times a week. I don't want to waste a lot of time sitting around on the exercise yard when I can be inside the cell writing or studying. Death row inmates aren't permitted to work in prison because penitentiary officials are afraid we'd try to escape. But inmates in the main prison are expected to work. They're even penalized if they refuse to get a job. One penalty is to restrict an inmate's use of the telephone. In prison, you can work, for example, as a construction worker, janitor, cook, or gardener. But not all jobs pay a salary, and those that do pay don't pay much. A cook and a construction worker earn the same, about $100 a month for working 40 or more hours per week. That comes to approximately 62 cents per hour, a sum that's far below the minimum wage. Some jobs, like a beginning construction worker, pay an inmate even less. $20 a month for 40 hours per week of work, or about 12 cents per hour. So some inmates seek prison jobs, but many don't. A few prisons have training programs for inmates, such as in welding and computer literacy, but that's no longer the norm. Most programs that prepare inmates for life outside of prison have been eliminated in recent years. Inmates can spend some of their time during the day using the telephone. For the main prison population, the telephones are kept in an area outside of their cells, but death row inmates must wait for the telephone to be brought to them. The telephone is on a cart, which is pushed down the tier by a guard. A telephone handset and cord are handed to us through the same slot as we receive our food. The main body of the telephone, including the dialing apparatus, remains on the cart. Each death row cell has a telephone jack in the wall, so we plug the cord into the jack, stick our arm through the slot, and dial, collect. We can make a call only if the other party is willing to pay for it. Many friends and family members, however, put blocks on their telephones so inmates cannot charge collect calls to their numbers. So having access to a telephone a few times a week doesn't necessarily mean there will be someone willing to accept an inmate's call. Sometimes the guards just don't feel like pushing the telephone cart, which means we don't get to use the telephone that day. Not too long ago, a guard was rumored to have deliberately broken the inmate telephone. None of us inmates saw the guard do it, but this we know for sure. The cord was ripped from the cart. Our phone was out of service for nearly 2 weeks after that incident. If friends or family are willing to purchase a television, radio, or books for an inmate in a state prison, then the inmate can watch TV, listen to music, or read all day in his cell. I am fortunate to have a television in my cell that my mother bought me. Federal prisons don't allow inmates to have televisions in their cells. Those inmates have to go to one of several rooms set up on certain floors to watch television. On Sundays, inmates can worship in the prison chapel. Inmates belonging to each of the religious groups officially recognized by the prison, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, and others, get a 1-hour turn in the chapel.